Hey guys, Matthew here. So today I'll be bringing you a little bit of a different video. We're not going to be going over uniques to pick up, and I will be doing another one though, probably tomorrow on uniques to pick up, and I'll cover all the weapons at the same time because weapons I don't actually have to go over them one by one. There's a pretty good rule of thumb when it comes to weapons. But now and today, what I decided to do is actually bring you guys a little bit of informative video on how to figure out what is worth what and also what's meta. Because the thing is, certain unique items are worth absolutely nothing, but then given extremely good rolls or even sometimes just good rolls, they can be worth a fair bit. And what basically outlines this entire concept is the fact that these items are meta. And meta means a lot of people are using them. So what you're going to do is you're going to go over to poe.ninja, which is a website over here, which you can see, basically what's worth currently in what league. So we're in Incursion right now. If you go to Essences, you'll see like Essences of Horror, like 50C, and Insanity are 21, and Prophecies, and so on and so forth. But what's nice about this is there's actually this little button over here which says Go to Builds, and if you click that, it's basically going to give you all the builds and character names, all the characters and builds, as well as keystones and skills that people are using. But also, under items, you're going to have all the items that are currently being used with the amount of percentage, the percentage of people, basically, who are actually, the percentage of characters which are actually using these items. So, for example, when it comes to the Watcher's Eye, 40% of the population on Incursion currently is using a Watcher's Eye, which means 4 out of 10 people are using Watcher's Eye. 4 out of 10 characters, not people. 32 out of 100 people are using Aziri's Promise, and so on and so forth. Now, what's nice about this is that if you go down that list, you're going to start seeing items that you might have thought were not actually worth anything. So, for example, Starkonja's head, right? So if you go down to Starkonja's head, you're like, okay, so 18% of players are using Starkonja's head. So if I go to poe.trade right here, and then I put in Starkonja's head, you're probably going to see that it's fairly cheap, right? It's very, very cheap. But then we all know that Starkonja's head goes from 80 to 100 life on the life roll. So if we go to maximum life and put in, let's say, a 98 life roll, all of a sudden they've tripled in price, quadrupled in price, even 5 times the amount of the actual price. And what if we were to actually just get a perfect flat 100? Now that looks very good. All of a sudden we're up to 10 chaos. That's actually corrupted. 14 chaos, 15 chaos. There's quite a few for 15 chaos. It even goes up to 30 chaos. I'm guessing it depends on the other rolls as well. So if you get a good evasion roll as well on top of it. So for example, if I go to evasion and also put a very good evasion roll on my Starkonja, for example, like a 125 is pretty good, I believe. All of a sudden, we're in the 20-25 chaos range, 37 chaos, and that's probably because the dexterity roll is also very high. 40 chaos, 55 chaos. 1 Exalt, and this one has perfect evasion with perfect life, and very bad dexterity, but whatever. This one, as you can see, almost perfect dexterity, a very good evasion and perfect life, 1 Exalt. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is that by using poe.ninja under the items, you can actually see certain items that are typically very cheap, but since so many people are using them, which means they're currently meta, they gain a lot of worth depending on the rolls on these items. So it's the same for Impulses. If you were to actually look, it's the same for Impulses. It's the same for Gold Worms. Gold Worms are pretty dirt cheap, but then if you actually put in like a perfect or near perfect quantity roll with a very good fire resistance roll, all of a sudden they're like 10 times more expensive. Essence Worm is one of these things that actually doesn't matter because Essence Worm, well, basically there's no roll. If there's no possible roll on the actual item, like Essence Worm, there's just no roll on it at all except the color of the socket. That's just chromatics. Then it's not really going to matter. But everything else, Queen of the Forest, dirt cheap, a very, 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 very good roll on like all the rolls, up to multiple exalts. Lore same thing, pretty damn cheap for a garbage roll. But good rolls on there means it's going to be extremely expensive. Sedima's Dutch, dirt cheap, yet a perfect quantity roll is going to be a lot more expensive. It's not going to be very expensive, but it's going to be a lot more expensive than just like a 12%. Devoto's Devotion, same thing. Comb's Heart, like I said, is one of those that doesn't have an actual roll, so it doesn't, count. Lionized Fall doesn't have a roll, it's just a jewel, doesn't count. Shimron probably applies as well, though I believe Shimrons are pretty expensive no matter what. Bright Beak, same thing applies. I'm pretty sure a perfect roll on both the lightning and I believe is fire resistance on there. If you get a perfect roll for both, it's probably like 5 to 10 times more expensive than just a regular garbage roll. Combat Focus is a jewel. I believe the same thing applies to that. And you can go down that list and basically figure out what is currently meta in terms of items. And if you don't want to go with items and instead you'd want to look for specific builds, if you go under here, under main skills, basically this takes in all the 5 links and higher, which means 5 and 6 links that characters have currently. So as you can see, 21% of characters currently in 5 link setups have Arc. 13% have Blade Vortex, 12% have Val Blade Vortex, and you can go down that list and basically see, basically what's currently meta in terms of skills. So the meta would be like the top 10. For example, like Arc, Blade Vortex, Val, Blade Vortex, Elemental Hit, Val Arc, Tornado Shot, Barrage, Kinetic Blast, Lightning Spire, Righteous Fire, Molten Strike, Frenzy, Val Righteous Fire, Double Strike, Val Double Strike. That's pretty much what's currently meta. So then what you can do instead is, look up, let's say, a guide, the most popular guide for that class, or that skill currently, and then look up what is recommended in terms of unique items, and that's another way to get some pretty fair prices in terms of what's worth what. And I actually use this very, very often. It's also good to know what people are leveling with. So as you can see, this guy's level 100. He's using Tornado Shot. This guy's level 100 using Tornado Shot. This guy's using Frenzy. These guys don't have any skill. They probably just empty their character. This guy's using Kinetic Blast, an Elemental Hit, and so on. And you can basically see what people are mostly using to level up when it comes to pushing 100. So if you're more of a pusher, and what you want to focus on is items that people use to push, then it's basically the same thing. What you're going to do is you're going to go over the most used skills when it comes to leveling. So for example, if I was to just take this in and put in character that are level 100, all of a sudden you see that Tornado Shot and Elemental Hit and Blade Vortex are pretty much the top 3 when it comes to pushing level 100. So then you can go and look at, for example, any Tornado Shot 3.3 guide or whatever. For example, right here. Yeah, whatever. So see, the estimated budget is also very low. That's 3.1. That won't work. Bleed Tornado Shot build. Whatever it is, like you can just look up these guides and see what is recommended in terms of items. Like this guy's using a Black Heart, Mega Girdle. Wow, this is very, very cheap. But yeah, basically this is how I do to know, what's worth what in terms of items most of the time and what is currently meta. PoE Ninja is a great, great tool. There's a lot of stuff that you can find. You can even go way back in other leagues to see what was worth back then and things like that. And there's also, you can see how many, what basically, how popular like traps are, totems are, mines are, or just normal like self-cast. You can see the keystones people are mostly using. The skills most people are using, so as you can see most people are using Immortal Call, Portal, Grace. That's another good way to know like what gems to level up. Just look at what's popular. Because this thing is, you can just go to the economy, right, and be like, okay, so skill gems. Okay, so currently a level 21-23 Tornado Shot is 10 exalts. So what am I going to do? I'm going to level up like 16 tornado shots and vow them all and hope for 2023 in the temple or whatever it might be, right? Yeah, you can do that, and if you hit one, you're going to get, 10 exalts for it. But the thing is, if everybody is also doing the same thing, then it's just going to become a war of undercutting, and that 10 exalts. For example, if 10 people right now, this second, got a 2023 tornado shot, this price would probably drop in half, because all of a sudden, you're not going to have 10 players who want a 2023 tornado shot, on a given day. Typically, there's probably one or maybe two that are going to sell on a daily basis. When it comes to very, very expensive gem, the thing is you don't actually get a whole lot. Even when it comes to min-maxing, personally, I had my build in Incursion was worth multiple hundred exalts at the point where it was at the end. It was just super crazy, and yet I didn't even use a 2023 tornado shot because the amount of damage I got from it when posting it into POB was just very, very small, and I didn't think it was worth something like 10x. That being said, some people are willing to pay that 10x, so obviously it's going to sell. But like I said, if 10 people vowed in the temple and got a 2023 right at this second, it's just going to drop in price by like half. While if you go down to builds, like I was talking about earlier, and go to like level 100 or whatever it is, and then you go into all skills, you can see all the skills people are mostly using, and then you can actually focus what gems you're going to level based on this instead of on the price that is worth the most. Because everybody's going to look at the price that's worth the most, and then everybody's going to level those gems, and then the market's just going to get saturated over time. And like I said, if 10 people got a 2023, the price would probably drop by over half right now. While if you level these gems that everybody's using, yet not that many people are actually posting, well, then you can net yourself maybe a little bit less profit. So instead of being like 10x for your gem, you might get like 6, but you're not going to have to fight anybody to sell your gem. So that 10x, instead of becoming like 5 or even 4 or even 3, if there's like a lot of people valuing these gems or corrupting these gems in the temple, while you're going to be the only one selling your whatever, let's say I don't know, haste or something, like level 21 Val haste or whatever it is. If you're the only person selling it, then all of a sudden it's going to be worth a lot more, but it's also going to be very much easier to sell. You can also even check weapons. Like most people are using bows. As you can see, 28% are Deadeyes and 29% are using bows, so it kind of adds up. So that's pretty much what I wanted to go over in terms of using PoE.Ninja to your advantages and figuring out what's meta. That's basically, like I said, exactly what I do to know what to focus on when it comes to items that are just very, very meta currently. So then I price according to the meta and not according to the prices of other people, which makes not only my items more than often worth more than what they would be otherwise, but also it enables me to sell them a lot easier because I actually know what people want and do not want. So I know this video is going to be a little bit more of a weird one, just considering like what I'm saying is very abstract. But what I give you guys as a challenge is start actually using this method for the 1 month race coming in like 2 days. Actually start using PoE.Ninja properly and figuring out what's meta, figuring out what's good, figuring out what's not good. And afterwards, once you kind of have a very good idea of what's going on in the league and what's worth what, it becomes really, really simple. And mostly from league to league, it kind of applies, which means I learned all these things pretty much in Harbinger. And even if I almost didn't play Abyss and I skipped Bestiary altogether, when I came back for Incursions, in reality, not that much had changed. What's going to change, obviously, is going to be in the patch notes, and then you can base your prices or your idea of certain prices based on the patch notes. So, for example, if right at this second there was a patch for the upcoming 1 month race, and they nerfed down Tornado Shot to the ground, all of a sudden, instead of playing Tornado Shot, everybody's probably going to play something like Lightning Arrow, so we can take Tornado Shot and just throwing out the window altogether. Because as soon as there's nerfs, typically, people are just gonna switch builds. It's that simple. There's not that many builds that survives very hard nerfs. When it comes to very small nerfs, it's not that big of a deal. But when it comes to heavy hitting nerfs that apply to very low budget builds, then it affects a lot of players, and then you just throw out the build totally altogether. Don't even look at it and wait for to see what's going to happen in the meta. And how do you figure out what's meta or not? Well, I just told you, use PoE.Ninja. So then if you realize even after the nerf there's like 20% of people using tornado shot, well then you can apply that same knowledge and those same prices that you used to apply, even if there was a nerf, because people actually are still playing the build. So really, like I've always said, when it comes to PoE, everything is about supply and demand. Everything is about kind of figuring out what people are using and pricing and basing your prices on that and not on the actual item. There's some very, very rare items in PoE, like extremely rare, that are worth absolutely nothing, just because the meta is just not there right now. So if you think about Shavron's wrappings, the armor, the shavs, right now there's just not a whole lot of demand for it. So they're dirt cheap. It's a very, very good chest piece, even if it's been nerfed multiple times. But still, there's just no meta around it. So even if it's super rare and some people might never drop one in multiple thousand hours of mapping, it's just because it's a very rare item, yet it's not worth anything. And why is that? Because everything is dictated by the meta, the supply, and the demand, just like any economy in real life, just like in any other game. So that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you learned a little something. I think this video, like I said, a little bit more of an abstract one. But if you apply this, what I taught you guys in this video, you'll see that your gains and how much you're going to price your items at and stuff, it's really going to be worth it in the long run. And you're going to get scammed a lot less for items that are worth a lot more than you might think. So, yeah, as always, leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment if you have any questions regarding this. Like, I know this is going to be a little bit more of a topic that some people might have questions about, and that's perfectly fine. So feel free to ask anything you want. I'll answer the best I can. And other than that, I'm pretty much going to see you guys in the next video, where I'm going to be going all over the weapons for the uniques to pick up. But after that, we're pretty much going to see each other for the 1 month race coming along in 2 days. And for that, I don't think I'm really going to make a video on what my plan is, because I spoke about it many times already. But what you can do, though, is follow my stream at twitch.tv/pathofmath, because when that league or that race hits, I'm going to be streaming daily for at least like the first couple weeks probably, and it's going to be like 4 or 5 hour streams daily, because I'm really going to try to push and teach you guys as much as I can. So hopefully you guys are looking forward for that, because I know I am. And that's going to be Matthew signing out until the next one. Thanks for watching.